with footfalls. Among other things, it's like a chamber piece of music, and Beckett really writes like music.
And where we'll be in the future, it's hard to say because it's all about the stories. What is the stories we're going to tell? And it's going to take us into places.
You know, I think the winners will be, I'm not sure I have all the answers, but I think the winners will be the Terence Winters of the future who create great shows.
Right.
And
what's the hardest thing for you?
Once you
structure.
Structure.
Yeah, no question. It is figuring out how to tell the story, like where it begins, where it ends, what the beats of the story are, like how it happens.
I mean, it's people. Some people don't want to hear that about writing. You're not sitting there taking dictation from from an angel.
Exactly.
You've got to work. It's
well
about
said.
structure. It's about discipline. It's all these deadly things that your school teacher told you needed. You need it.
And interesting, Andrew Stanton, who is my creative partner, one of my creative partners at Pixar, he always coined this phrase, is be wrong as fast as you can. Because it's true, because every time you take a step to the next phase, the first draft of the script is not good.
Right.
But it's okay.
But I'm also interested in the creative process, too. And I've come to understand, first of all, there's no spirit from the on high that speaks to you. What speaks to you, you know, is a idea that you can then dive into and then make choices. You make choices about your characters. You make choices about do they do this or do they do that.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what the creative idea is about.
Was if we were to begin today doing this, playing this game, is this how we would do it?
Yeah.
You know, what made sense 150 years ago does not make sense for us now.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, there was this amazing confluence that happened at the turn of the century between the rise of a set of television writers who were very cantankerous and rebellious against the old rules of TV and its relationship with the audience, and then DVRs and the internet, which happened essentially simultaneously, enabling people to save shows and pause them and rewind them and archive them and then discuss them with strangers online. And I think when both of those forces came together, you could actually create shows with far greater complexity because people could decode them together and they could kind of last instead of squeezing into your living room like cookie dough, which is, it's almost hard to remember back when that was the only way that you watched television.
Is this the best time to have content because the availability of so many places you can distribute content?
It's always been a good time to have great content, always. But today, you know, media is a combination of content and technology. The printing press and technology and you know, I guess the content that was a book, the work of an author. And today we're seeing content meeting technology like we've never seen technology before. I mean, it is turbocharged technology, and it's developing not only very rapidly, but in very, very compelling ways.
Jonás and I, my son and co-writer, we always say that we have composed a screenplay was done in harmonies, and Sandra came to give the melody.
Yes.
You know, and it's true literally in the sense that there was, in the screenplay that Sandra read, it was every single scene that you see in the film, but the way of taking the character that was still open to interpretation. And Sandra was so adamant to work, you know, to make sure that every single beat was going to work for the theme of the film.
It starts with where is the emotion of the story going to come from? The emotion comes from the growth of the main character. What does the main character learn? How does he change through this? And how they change sets up what we call the theme or the lesson or the story, you know, the basic underlying story of this film, you know. And it's amazing how we work on that first and foremost, because that's something that informs everything that goes on in the story. Everything in our story is about the main character's journey. If it doesn't support that main character's journey, it is not necessary in the film. And everything from not just the story, but the development of the characters, the personalities, the way the environments look, the character designs, the lighting, the color, the music. Everything is there is to support this story and the emotion of these stories.
The manner in which those stories were told, not just the ability to use adult language or nudity or things like that, but just to tell a long-form story over hours and hours and hours that actually doesn't spoon-feed the audience answers and actually is challenging. That at the same time as all these other technologies coming together, I think really made a huge difference.
I think one of the things that happened was that technology, including that which you spoke about, Netflix and VOD, both on cable and via the internet, met quality storytelling. And I think that's perhaps a little under-recognized because it allowed people to catch up in between seasons. And it allowed them to do it at their own choice, and it allowed them to do it in an environment that was a little bit more actually at home, like a cinema. You do it when you want, you're paying full attention. So if you're watching a nuanced drama, you're all in. And you get so all in that when the next season comes on, you sort of can't wait.
So I think actors and writers, directors are frustrated with the ability, with the lack of ability to tell real stories. And you get a show like Breaking Bad or Mad Men or a show like my own where you can tell stories over dozens of hours and dig really deep into characters. I mean, for an actor to get a chance to play a role like that, or writers to get to develop basically a long-form novel in a television series, is really irresistible.
Thank you.
Is a trilogy hard?
It was hard for me.
Because?
It was really long, and also I had to keep track of all the little details. It's sort of like continuity in a film. So if the person's got blue eyes in this scene, they've got to have blue eyes in that scene.
El concepto de auditoría creativa
of an audit, the creative audit.
Es un concepto muy nuestro.
It's something that's very much ours.
Estos libros están basados en esto.
And these books are based on that idea.
En el mundo creativo tiene
In
que
the
tener
creative
control.
world, you have to have these things.
No sirve. Yo soy creativo.
You can't just say I'm
me tienes que
creative
dejar
and you leave me alone.
No. Cuando tú pones mucho dinero
when you put money
en
down
un centro de I+D,
in a center like MIT,
tienes que tener,
you have to have a result.
Y la gente,
How do you go from chapter to chapter?
How you get from here to there, sort of like, and where you want to go. And once I get the reporting, like the gathering of the material and the structuring of the thing go hand in hand. And I'm in agony about how this story, the best way to tell a story. When you tell a story, the important thing is what you leave out. So like, what can I leave out and get this story, like, how do I pare it down to like what it should be? Once I've got that, the words are easy. The words come very easily. I wrote Flash Boys in 4 or 5 months. Worked on it for a year and a half before that. But
the words just pour out.
Same as this thing. I did this thing in probably 4 months, 5 months.
Where are you in? Started writing in April for a show that went on the air in May. So I spent the whole year I worked on the show for a whole year, which is longer than I'd ever spent on it. So I did it more carefully this time.
Is it like sculpturing?
Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine recently about how, there's two kinds of sculpture. There's addition sculpture and a subtraction. Addition is where you keep adding clay till you get the right shape. And subtraction is where there's a block and you cut away what isn't the thing till you're left with the thing. So with the show, it's both.
Today it proves that if you produce high-quality television in today's technological environment and you have reasonable resources, yes, you actually will find the audience. You won't get lost.